Okay, so this video is going to be about how to do a weaving using paper straws and or any kind of straws that you have. The ones that have the little bendy are a little harder to do, so straight ones are better. And what we need today is 3 straws. You can do up to 5 straws if you want, but I think 3 is good to begin with. Some tape, scissors, and of course your yarn. So first things first, we're going to take a piece of tape. And this is just to help us keep everything from moving around. Just to line up the straws, I like to put a little bit of space between them, and then I'm going to tape them down to the table like that. Okay, and now we're going to take our yarn and get a bunch of it unwound. And we want a longish tail. Okay, so something like that. So we're going to put that under our first straw and kind of keep it off to the side. And now we're going to begin our weaving. So right now we have this yarn underneath our first straw. We're going to go over the middle straw and under the third straw. Okay, so that's our first row. And we're going to keep doing this for a while. And at first it won't seem like much, but after you get a few rows going, you'll start to see that it's coming together. And you can see I'm kind of just sliding them towards the taped end and kind of tightening them and neatening them up as I go. And so we'll just do a few rows here so you get to see how this works. And then we'll talk about how to finish it. So I have actually some variegated yarn here, so it will make a really nice pattern. And what variegated means is that you can see that it's like a darker blue and it fades to a lighter blue and almost a white, and that will give us kind of a nice striped pattern. So oops, if you make a mistake like I just did, you can just undo it and start again. Now when you're doing this, you can start to think about the fact that in Maine during the 19th century especially, there were lots of people working in the textile industry. They were making woven cloth, they might have been spinning yarn. This is cotton yarn, and Maine was certainly producing a lot of cotton. Now, of course, we weren't growing cotton. It's a little too cold here in Maine, not a long enough growing season for cotton to be produced here, but we were producing wool. And cotton was being sent down to Maine from the south to be processed in our water-powered mills because Maine had lots and lots of water with all the rivers that we have throughout the state. Okay, so now you're beginning to see the pattern, and this is really simple. It's easy to do, and it's a good beginning weaving project. Just to give you an idea of what this type of work was like historically, and we also have a lot of artists and craftspeople still weaving in Maine today. So that gives you a good idea of what this is going to look like as you keep going. And what you need to do is go almost all this way, or as long as you want your weaving to be. So now we're going to switch off. I'm going to move this off to the side, and I'll show you how to finish off your weaving because I have one here that we can use to do that with. Okay, so I've completed this, and now what I need to do is to get it off our straws. So first things first, I am, going to disconnect that one so I can use some yarn here. And what I need is 3 pieces of yarn, a little bit longer than our straws, right? Not too long, but a little bit longer. And what you need to do is you're going to get as many of these as you have straws. So in this case, I have 3 straws, so I need 3 lengths of yarn. And this is the part where you need a little bit of patience, and it might be hard if you've chosen a really thick yarn. So we're going to just kind of thread the yarn through our straw so that it comes out the other end, and it just takes a little bit of patience. You think you're doing this forever, and then finally it will come out the other end and you can grab it just like that. Okay, so just so it's halfway through. I'm going to do that for the next 2 straws as well. gravity sort of helps you out here. You just kind of thread it through a little bit at a time. Just keep an eye on that bottom so when it comes through you can grab it and pull it, just like this. And then we have one more to do here, and then we should move on to our next step. I think using 3 straws gives you a nice length and width, and this makes a really nice project that you can do to make a little bracelet, a bookmark, or just a small wall hanging or decorative piece. Makes a nice gift. This one's being a little fussy. Feels like we've been doing it forever and it's still not coming out. Oh, I think I see it. There we go. Okay, so now we have 4 different lengths of yarn. We've got the one left from our weaving, and then the 3 we just threaded. So we want to be conscious of the one that we stopped our weaving at, right? Because we don't want to unweave anything. We like what we have. And what I like to do is just to give this a little knot. And that way, really simple, it just stays put. And then you don't have to worry about it, right? Okay, there, and we're kind of knotting it around the other one thread, and then we're just gonna do that. Keep it from moving away from us. Now we've got these 2 other ones, and we're gonna knot them as well. Okay, and make sure it's really easy that you pull these through. So it takes a little bit of patience and bit of gentleness, and I'm just going to give that one another knot just to make sure it stays put. Okay, now what you can do is take the remaining ends that you have here, and I might shorten these up so we don't have an unruly amount of yarn, and you can do another knot just to bring all those ends together like that, and kind of scooch it over like that so it's nice and neat and where you want it to be. Okay, so that's going to tie this off. Now the hard part is to make sure that to get these off of our straws very carefully. So what I'm doing is scooching down our weaving, and it might look a little messy while we're doing this, so you just have to be careful, and we'll straighten it out and make it all work at the end. Okay, make sure that you're keeping track of your yarn. See, it's starting to come off, and it's like, oh, it's unraveling, but don't worry, we'll neaten it up. Pull this to keep things tight. And then we're going to undo it all together. We don't need our straws anymore because everything is on our yarn. Okay, and we can just gently, with our fingers here, straighten everything out and neaten it, but we want to be careful not to pull too hard because we have to tie off our ends over here, right? So let's shorten this one so it's similar to the others, and we're going to tie this one off with the yarn next to it, right? And then we'll do the same over here. Knot if you want, just to make sure it's secure, and then gather them back, all those ends up again like you did in the next side, and pull them through, and you can kind of gently position it where you want it to be. And now you have your finished weaving, and if you want, you can put it around your wrist and tie it and wear it as a bracelet.